Hey guys, welcome back to Maths Recovery with Rebecca. So today we are going to be working on algebraic fractions, but before we actually start with the algebraic part, I thought that it was very important for us to have an understanding of just how fractions work, because as soon as we involve the algebra, we can't go and plug things in our calculator anymore. Then it becomes very difficult to go and learn all the basic operations on fractions, because now you need to know. Okay, so let's start with the first one, multiplication. Okay, so it's very important for us to look at BEDMAS. So you guys might know PEDMAS, which is just parentheses instead of brackets, which means the same thing. And then you might even know BODMAS, but we've moved away from that. If we're looking at algebraic fractions of sums, we should know by now mean multiplication. So we're going to look at BEDMAS, where this E just means exponents. Okay, so we know we've added in an extra little piece. We've just replaced of sums with exponents, which is this new chapter that we're entering. Okay, so let's look at multiplication of fractions. So a very important concept here is that every number can be made into a fraction by just dividing by 1. So what we're going to do is rewrite this as a fraction on both sides of this multiplication sign. And then a very important concept is cross cancellation. I don't know what happened, who taught who what, but people are coming with this new cross multiplication. Now, cross multiplication is only with equations. Right now we are working with expressions. So no equations. So it's cross cancellation. And cross cancellation works that if you look at the numerator of the one fraction and the denominator of the next fraction, you ask yourself, can they be divided by something? And in this case, no. 2 and 1, well, they can both be divided by 1, which is not going to change anything. And 3 and 5 don't have any common factor there. So what we're going to do, just for normal multiplication, so remember, we just go and multiply the numerators with each other and multiply the denominators with each other. And what we have is just 10 over 3. So right now, I'm going to leave everything as improper fractions, because when we get into algebraic fractions, everything needs to be left as an improper fraction. Okay, so let's look at this next one. We are going to try cross cancellation, because I'm seeing that 12 and 3 can divide into each other, and 5 and 10. So 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 12 4 times, 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 10 twice. So now we're just going to multiply numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator, and I'm going to get a negative 4 over 2, which is just a negative 2. Okay, all done. Next one, let's look at division. So again, I've got this cross cancellation, not cross multiplication, because remember, with division, we're going to actually change it into multiplication. We're going to use the KCF method, so the keep, change, flip method. My kids like to remember KCF as KFC, but I mean, it is what it is, how you want to remember it. But it's actually keep, change, flip. So that means we keep the first one, change this to a multiplication, and flip the back number. And then, so we're going to go 4 over 5 divided by 4 over 5 times by, because we are changing it to, that's the method. Okay, changing it to 25 over 2. And then we're going to see, can we cross cancel? Well, yes. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 4 twice, 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 25 5 times. And then we're just going to multiply numerator with numerator. So I'm getting a 10 over 1. I'm not going to write that. Okay, let's look at this next one. Same thing. Keep, change, flip. But now I can't really flip this one. It first needs to be changed to an improper, and then I can flip it. So let's do that. So 7 over 100 divided by, so how do we change from a mixed to an improper? So we say 10 times 4, because we have we've got 4 whole tens. So it'll be 49. So it'll be 49 over 10. And then we're going to keep, change, flip, and then we're going to see, can we cross cancel? Yes, 1, 7, 10, 1. So that's just going to leave me with a 1 over 70. So right now you can put all these things into your calculator, but remember the goal of this video is to see if you can actually apply the basic skills of fractions so that when we do algebraic fractions where we can't plug things into our calculator, we actually know how to do the operations. Okay, let's look at addition and subtraction. So with multiplication and division, you did not need to find an LCD. But with addition and subtraction, you need to find an LCD. So that's the lowest common denominator. So what we do is we look at the 5 and we look at the 6 and we say, what is the closest number in their timetables that is the same? Well, it's going to be 30. So that means we times the 5 by 6. What we do to the bottom, we do to the top. Times by 5, times by 5. So now we have this new fraction with a denominator of 30 with 18 plus 5. And 18 plus 5 is just going to be 23 over 30. And we know we can't simplify that more. 23 is a prime number, so we're done. Remember, we also, if you thought it was maybe an improper fraction, which is not because the number on top is smaller, leave it as improper because it's just what we're going to do for algebraic fractions. Okay, let's look at this one. So remember, BEDMAS hasn't been used anywhere there because BEDMAS is only for mixed operations, which we're going to look at next. Okay, so let's look at this one. So we need to do what? So we need to change this to improper and change this to improper. So let's go do that. We've got 3 groups of 3 plus 1. So that's 10 over 3 minus 4 groups of 5. That's 22 over 5. Now we've got to get LCD. So what are our two numbers? We've got 3 and 5. The closest multiplication, multiple of them would be 15. So we're going to times 3 by 5, but we do to the bottom, we do to the top. Times that by 3, times this by 3. And then our denominator is now 15. And this is going to be 50 minus, well, 66. And that's going to leave me with a negative 16 over 15. And I'm going to leave it as improper. Okay, so let's look at this mixed operations now. So I've put in some surds and some exponents just to go and see if we understand those laws. So we're going to first look at BEDMAS now. So we need to do brackets first. So our brackets are over here, but once we are within the brackets, we've got to apply BEDMAS. Okay, so within the brackets, the first thing happening is exponents. Well, here's an exponent over here, so let's apply this. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to change everything to improper, that is mixed, just to make my life easier. So that's going to be 4 over 3 plus 9 over 5 times by. So you know with a square, it means we have the exact same thing twice, which means I've got 2 negatives, which make a positive, and I've got 2 2's, which is a 4, and 3 3's, which is a 9. Okay. Okay. Now, once we've gotten rid of the bracket, so our exponents are done. There is no division, but there is multiplication. So let's look at that. So remember with multiplication, we can just multiply straight. We got to look for cross cancellation. So I'm going to go there, the 9's can cancel, 1 and 1. And then we're just going to multiply numerator with numerator, which is just going to leave me with a 4 over 5. Then we're going to look at addition. And addition, I need to get LCD. Well, we've got a 3 and a 5. That's going to be just 15 times by 5 times by 5 times by 3 times by 3. That's going to be 20, but let's put this over 15. 20 plus 12, which is just going to be 32 over 15. And I'm going to leave it as improper because that's what we're going to do with algebraic fractions. Okay, let's clean this BODMAS off here so we can use it for the next one. Great stuff. Okay, so exponents, remember its inverse operation would be these surds. So they would fall on the same line. So this also includes all surds that need to be done. So let's look at the brackets first. So I'm going to start with this one, but then I can also do that surd. So let's look, the cube root. So what's important to know is when you've got a fraction underneath the cube root, what happens is that it just breaks up like this. So you can go and do it individually. So the cube root of negative 125 is just a negative 5 over, that's going to be a 3. And then we're going to divide it by, well, this is going to be the same situation. So the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. Plus 1. Now let's think about this. 1 can be written as 2 over 2. It can be written as 3 over 3. It can be written as 1,000 over 1,000. Which one's going to benefit us? Well, it's adding, so we're going to have to get LCD. So I'm going to write that 1 as 3 over 3, just to help myself out. But I'm still working in the brackets, right? Those brackets haven't dropped yet. So now that's going to become 5 over 3. Then I'm going to do the division, which is just applying the KCF. So keep, change, flip, and then cross cancellation. 5 and 5, 1 and 1, 3 and 3, 1 and 1. So my answer is a big fat negative 1. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling great about this. Make sure that you make so many notes on this so that when we go to the actual algebraic fractions and getting LCD, we can actually just dive straight in and not have any problems with adding, subtracting, multiplication, and addition. No, I've already said that. Division, there it is, of fractions, because you won't be able to use your calculator. You would need to have this basic understanding. Okay guys, have a great day and watch out for my next video. It will be algebraic fractions, well, with one variable in the denominator. Okay, have a good day. I will see you later. Please like and subscribe and share my videos with all your friends. Thank you so much.